Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for the opportunity of some small stories. So very grateful to repeat the words of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivinoda Swami Srila Prabhupada from the book Nectar of Holy Name and His Grace Radheshyam Prabhu. In the book Nectar of Holy Name, Srila Prabhupada mentioned about Srila Haridas Thakur. Now Haridas Thakur was a perfect example of a devotee who is practicing Krishna consciousness very seriously through chanting 300 times names every day. At the same time, he is an example of preacher who practices and preach. Like we say, बोले तैसा चाले त्याची बंदावी पावले, Tukaram Maharaj says. So it's very important. So Prabhupada mentioned that few devotees they practice but they don't preach. Few devotees they preach but they don't practice. So the combination will be the best way to go ahead. So you do your sadhana properly at the same time you try to preach through your example and also so once you have your own dignity and doing things so it's a sadachar then it will have a effect people recognize it and when whatever you speak that would be acknowledged. So his Radhesham Prabhu gives an example of electrical conductor. So very wonderfully Prabhuji mentions that electrical conduction the conduction happens better depend on what is the resistance of that conductor. So if the resistance is low the electricity will flow faster. And if you want to make it superconductor, the concept of superconductor, where it's a minimum or zero resistance. So once you have a zero resistance, then that electricity will flow like anything, and that conductor becomes superconductor. So Prabhupada was mentioning superconductor, it is allowing electricity to flow through it. At the same time, in process, a conductor is also getting the effect of electricity. Similarly, when we want to be a conductor of a mercy of Krishna, we need to be a superconductor or a good conductor. So, what is making us a bad conductor? The Prabhupada is mentioning there are two things. One is offenses, and second is sins. So, these two things, these act as resistances, which basically not allow us to become a conductor or superconductor of a mercy of Lord. So, we need to understand when we become a conductor or a superconductor, we also get that effect first, and because the mercy is flowing through that conductor. So in case of Nama Aparad, in case of Aparad, there are Nama Aparad, Vaishno Aparad, Dhama Aparad. So all these Aparad. So we should be very careful trying to avoid this Aparad. And the second point, we should also try not to do any sin, like not trying to be a gentleman, trying to follow the rules and regulations, even of a normal society, the rules of given by God and rules given by the government. So when the two combinations are there, we'll be able to become a good conductor or a superconductor of the mercy of Lord, where we can get the effect of chanting and we can also able to preach. And what is the most important in this, as yesterday very nicely this preachers was mentioning, we need to think that I am unqualified. I don't have any qualification. I need help because in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's case, when the Gundicha Marjanam, we remember Mahaprabhu cleaned the temple twice. So first the outer dust was taken and then he went away again and take out a finer dust. So the outer dust is the outer thing, but the inner dust, we have aspiration for wealth, adoration, prestige. So that is also need to be removed. And once you do that, then you'll be able to remove or reduce the offenses so that we can become a good conductor. So that's why His Holiness Radhana Swami Maharaj always mention about this verse. Trunadapi suni chena taro riva sahishnuna amanena manadena kirtanaya sadahari. To become a good conductor of mercy of Krishna, this is very important. So in this, very important is we should try to feel insignificant and beg the holy name that I don't have any qualification. You please accept me and please have a mercy on me so that I can chant nicely. So once you try to do in this particular mood, then gradually that resistance will go down and we can become a superconductor for mercy of Lord to flow through us. In the process, we also first get a benefit of mercy of Lord and then it will get benefited to others. So understanding the sins and aparad, we try to lower down our resistance, just become instrument of mercy of Lord, and that will come by chanting in the utter dependence in a desperate mood, and then Krishna will surely help us to lower down our resistance and become superconductor to get benefited and benefit the world at large. Hare Krishna. Sharinam Prabhu ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki